Ever felt like the whole world was collapsing around you? Like you're standing right in the middle of a storm with no escape in sight. No direction, no control, just noise. We've all felt that. That moment when life feels heavy and everything inside you wants to give up. But what if that struggle wasn't the end of your story? What if the pain, the pressure, the chaos was actually shaping your greatest strength? Today, we're going to talk about that. About how struggle can transform you, and how some of the hardest moments in life can become the reason you grow. Stay with me. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English Made Real with Zach. I'm Zach, and this is your space to get fluent, get motivated, and get real. Today's episode is a special one because we're diving deep into something every single person faces at some point in life. Facing a big challenge. A moment that tests you, pushes you, maybe even changes you forever. This is a B2 level podcast. So today, you're going to hear natural, expressive English, the kind people actually use when they're sitting in a cafe, talking honestly about life. Not perfect textbook English. Real English. Living English. The kind that helps you connect with people in the real world. Together, we're going to explore legendary stories of survival, modern-day struggles, and powerful lessons about resilience. And along the way, I'll give you practical mental tools to help you handle whatever life throws at you. So by the end of this video, you won't just walk away with new vocabulary. You'll walk away with a new mindset. All right, let's get into it. When I think about big challenges, I always think of the ultimate survivor, Robinson Crusoe. Imagine this for a second. You're born into a good family, a safe life, a comfortable future already waiting for you. Your father wants the best for you, a stable life, a peaceful life. But deep inside, you feel something pulling at you. A hunger, a fire, a need to see the world with your own eyes. So, you leave. And suddenly, everything changes. You find yourself trapped in the middle of a violent hurricane. Crusoe describes the waves like giant mountains rising out of the sea. The ship is breaking apart. The wind is roaring. The ocean feels alive. And in that moment, you realize how small you really are. That's what a real challenge feels like. Loud, chaotic, terrifying. The kind of moment that shakes you from the inside. When the storm finally ends, Crusoe is the only survivor left alive. He's soaked, exhausted, alone. No food, no shelter. Almost nothing left. Honestly, he had every reason to give up. But here's the powerful lesson. In the middle of a terrible situation, he didn't sit on the sand waiting to die. He moved. First, he searched for fresh water. Then he made a weapon from wood. After that, he swam back to the broken ship to scavenge tools and supplies. Little by little, step by step, he gave himself a chance to survive. And this is something important to remember. When you face a big challenge, your first reaction is usually fear. That's normal. That's human. But the difference between surviving and truly growing through hardship is action. Even small action. Because action creates momentum, and momentum slowly builds confidence. You don't need a perfect plan before you begin. You just need to move. But not every challenge looks like a shipwreck. Sometimes the real battle is happening inside your own mind. Think about The Secret Garden and the character Mary Lennox. At the beginning of the story, Mary is described as selfish, disagreeable, bad-tempered. She loses her parents, and suddenly her whole world changes. She's sent away to a huge old house, far from everything familiar. A cold place, a lonely place, a silent place. And honestly, her biggest challenge wasn't the house itself. It was the voice inside her head, the constant negativity. She hated everything. She hated the moor, she hated the house, she hated the people around her. It was like she had built a mental cage around herself. But then, something changed. She discovered a mystery, a locked garden. And in that moment, she had a choice. Stay angry, stay bored, stay trapped in the same thoughts, or begin exploring. And that's exactly what life gives all of us sometimes. Locked gardens. Moments that look painful at first, but secretly contain the possibility of change. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe a relationship ended. Maybe you feel stuck, like you're living inside a prison built from disappointment and fear. But one of the hardest truths in life is this: your comfort zone can become a trap, because nothing grows there. Not confidence, not strength, not transformation. Mary didn't change overnight. She had to go outside. She had to touch the soil. She had to pull out the thick grass so the flowers underneath could finally breathe again. And honestly, that's what growth looks like for us too. Messy, uncomfortable, slow sometimes, but real. So ask yourself this: are you simply existing, or are you really living? Because if something in your life feels wrong, you are allowed to change it. You are allowed to create a new version of yourself. You're not a tree. You can move. Mary Lennox did, and you can too. Here's something a little shocking. One of the biggest mistakes people make during difficult times is wasting the very thing they can never get back: time. We tell ourselves things like, "I'll deal with it later. I'll start tomorrow. I'll figure it out someday." But the truth is, later can become a dangerous illusion. Sometimes it's just fear wearing a different mask. Sometimes it's laziness pretending to be patience. Think about time like water inside a bottle. If you pour that water onto the ground, you can't pick it back up again. It's gone. And wasting time is a lot like that. It's pouring pieces of your life onto the floor, little by little, without realizing how valuable they were. That's why when you're facing a challenge, you have to become intentional. You have to act on purpose, not by accident. For example, if your challenge is learning English, don't create a vague dream like, "I want to become fluent someday." That sounds nice, but it's too unclear. It's like trying to use a GPS without typing in an address. You need direction. So instead of making a huge, impossible plan, make a tiny plan. A real one. Learn 3 new words today. Listen to 10 minutes of this podcast. Practice 1 sentence while making coffee. Use your pocket time. Those small 5-minute moments while you're waiting for the bus, walking somewhere, washing dishes, sitting alone with your thoughts. Most people ignore those moments, but those tiny pieces of time are powerful. Because small efforts repeated every day slowly become something bigger, like small coins collected over time, eventually turning into real treasure. Let's be honest for a moment. Most of the time, your biggest enemy isn't the challenge itself. It's not your boss, not your family, not your bank account. It's you. Or more specifically, the version of you that wants to stay comfortable. The version that says, "Maybe tomorrow. I'm too tired. 1 more hour in bed." It's the battle between the lazy you and the ambitious you. And honestly, that battle happens every single day. Every morning, you wake up with a choice, a small choice that slowly shapes your entire life. You decide the mood, you decide the energy, you decide the direction of your day. That's why how you start your morning matters so much. If you begin your day with intention, even something simple like practicing English for a few minutes, your mind feels clearer, more focused, more alive. That's one reason I love the idea of the 1% rule, because real transformation usually doesn't happen overnight. It happens quietly, slowly, day by day. If you improve just 1% every day, by the end of a year, you become dramatically better than where you started. Tiny actions may feel invisible in the moment, but over time, they compound, just like interest growing in a bank account. A few minutes today, a little effort tomorrow, another small step the next day. And suddenly, months later, you realize you've changed. I remember when I was learning a new skill, I kept waiting for the perfect moment to begin. The perfect time, the perfect mood, the perfect level of confidence. But that moment never came. Because the truth is, you will almost never feel fully ready. That's why growth belongs to the people who begin anyway. Not perfectly, not fearlessly, just honestly. Step by step. Because done is always better than perfect. When life feels chaotic, when everything seems to go wrong at once, that's when routine becomes powerful. Think about moments like the worst day ever, like getting lost in a huge city, or rushing through an airport in complete panic, trying not to miss your flight. In moments like that, your mind feels overwhelmed, and without something stable to hold on to, you can easily lose your balance emotionally. That's why routine matters. Routine is the rhythm that keeps your life moving forward, even when things around you feel uncertain. It gives structure to your day. It helps you feel grounded, balanced, in control again. And honestly, your routine doesn't need to be complicated. Mine is actually very simple. I wake up around 7 in the morning, I stretch for a little while, and focus on my breathing. Nothing extreme, just a calm, gentle way to begin the day. Then I drink a glass of water, I hydrate, I wake my body up slowly. After that, I check my to-do list, so I know exactly what matters most today. Simple habits, small actions, but together, they create stability. And this becomes incredibly important during difficult times. Because when a big challenge suddenly hits your life, your routine becomes your anchor, the thing that keeps you steady while everything else feels chaotic. It becomes your reset button. Maybe the day was stressful, maybe nothing went according to plan, maybe your emotions feel all over the place. But at least you know you took care of yourself. You brushed your teeth. You completed one important task. You spent 15 minutes investing in your growth. And sometimes, those small victories are enough to keep moving forward. All right, before we finish, let's bring everything together. Here are the biggest lessons from today. First, action is the antidote to fear. Like Robinson Crusoe, don't just sit on the beach waiting for life to rescue you. Start building your raft. Even a small step forward is still movement. Second, escape the comfort zone. Growth rarely happens when everything feels easy and safe. Real transformation begins the moment you become uncomfortable and keep going anyway. Third, use your pocket time wisely. Those tiny moments during the day matter more than you think. Stop the mindless scrolling, because distraction can quietly become a thief of time, energy, and potential. Fourth, respect the 1% rule. Never underestimate small daily improvements. A few minutes of effort today, another step tomorrow, and over time, those tiny actions completely redefine who you become. And finally, routine is power. A structured morning, a few healthy habits, a clear direction for your day. These things create stability when life feels uncertain. Your routine becomes your anchor. And sometimes, that anchor is exactly what keeps you moving forward. Before you go, I want you to remember something. You have far more control over your life than you think you do. And the truth is, you're not just killing time. Time is slowly killing your opportunities, your potential, the version of yourself you could become. So stop waiting. Pick yourself. Don't wait for permission to grow, to change, to become great. Start now, even if the step feels small, even if you're scared, even if you're not fully ready yet, because your future changes the moment you decide to move. And if this episode helped you in any way, do me a huge favor. Subscribe to English Made Real with Zach. Hit the like button and share this episode with someone who might be facing their own storm right now. And I genuinely love to hear from you. Leave a comment below. Tell me about your day. Tell me about the challenge you're facing. Tell me what you're trying to overcome. I read every single comment. And remember this, your greatness is waiting for you. Your dream is waiting for you. But nobody can chase it for you. It's time to go get it. Thank you for spending this time with me today. You didn't waste this time. You invested it in yourself. I'm Zach. Keep listening, keep speaking, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.